This episode is brought to you by The Guarantors. Facing rising renter fraud? Don't let fraudulent applications compromise your financial stability. The Guarantors provide a safety net that protects your rent roll and minimizes bad debt. Why risk it? Talk to The Guarantors and secure your property's financial health. Visit theguarantors.com/multifamily today. Let's talk about simulation during this episode of the Multifamily Collective. I believe that the future of training is really about the art of simulation. And that, think about it this way. Let's take asset management as a discipline inside of a real estate organization. And let's focus specifically on asset management as it relates to gathering information and creating an underwriting to purchase a property. And the process of collecting information, the process of thinking critically about that data, and then putting that data into a model, and then coming up with a decision as to whether or not you should invest in a property or not, can be trained in a way very rapidly in a way that utilizes simulation. So many real estate organizations out in the ecosystem today have a plethora of data that they've curated over the last, call it 10, 20, 30, 40 years. There are some organizations out there in the world that probably looked at near every multifamily deal across the country because they have that kind of team, they have that kind of process. They've utilized, as of late, AI and or even offshoring the underwriting mechanism. So they've collected a tremendous amount of data. Now, let's say you bring somebody new into your organization and you need to teach or train them on the art or in the art of underwriting a deal. And the only way you really can do that is to get them in front of as many deals as you possibly can and help them author and underwrite as many deals as you possibly can, as swiftly as you possibly can, in order to imbue sort of the behaviors that are necessary to get a really good underwriting done. And the only way to do that is just do a bunch of those. So you can take your archive of data, which includes underwritings that other people have produced, and you can put that into a simulation using artificial intelligence, and you can start to you can set people down in front of, just imagine it like an airplane cockpit. You have dials and things on the dashboard of the airplane, and you have to tweak them and switch them and do whatever in order to bring your airplane off the ground and to fly it successfully. It's kind of the same thing when you're underwriting a deal. You're collecting all of this data, you're moving all the knobs that are in the model, you're baking in the data, and you're coming up with an answer to a question. Do you buy the deal or do you not buy the deal? Do you make an offer or do you not make an offer? And if you get somebody set in front of this sort of airplane cockpit called underwriting, and you run them through just cycle after cycle after cycle after cycle of deals that are already in your archive, and you have them come up with their own underwriting, and then you do a compare and contrast against underwriting that was done by somebody who's very good at underwriting, and you can compare and contrast where someone might have been off in their thinking or their thought process, or someone might have been off in their assumptions, or even the thinking behind where they came up with the assumptions, or where they didn't collect enough data, or they didn't collect the right data to make a decision. You can do that all in a simulated model. And you can do it in a gamification way where people are just having a lot of fun coming up with underwriting models or versions of underwriting and comparing and contrasting and see where they're right and they're wrong, and scoring points and doing things of that nature so that you can get them versed in your art of underwriting deals. And I think that is a fantastic way of training. Not my novel thought, something that I read about, completely different industry, but they took data sets of their business and they put them in a model and they created these simulations, and people got up to speed very, very rapidly. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.